Fauna Slow, thank you. Fauna ASMR is back. I've got a chai tea latte for the occasion. And you're ready to be comfy? That sounds so good. I want to have a hot latte. I have some tea, but I want to make like a hot pumpkin tea latte. I have a can of pumpkin in my cabinet, but I'm kind of scared to open it because, you know, once you open it, you're like committed to eating the whole can of pumpkin. And I don't know if I have a plan for a whole can of pumpkin. Like, I just want like a tablespoon to put in my latte. Canned pumpkin? What do you mean canned pumpkin? That is unironically the best form of pumpkin. Ah! Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, there's a reason why canned pumpkin is better. Well, so most pumpkins are not the variety of pumpkin that you would use to make food with. Well, it depends. Like a pumpkin pie. A pumpkin pie, you would get a sugar pumpkin. Would be the variety you get. Of course, there are a lot of other varieties of pumpkins you can eat in like curries and stuff, like a kabocha pumpkin. I think that is technically a pumpkin, like a squash pumpkin, which is really yummy. But there are a lot of varieties of pumpkins that are not bred for taste. They're just bred for look, for appearance, like the big ones you carve. But when you go and buy like a sugar pumpkin, there's like no guarantee that that pumpkin is going to be ripe. And like, do you really, how familiar are you really with pumpkins? Like, we eat them like at one point of the year. How are you really gonna know if it's a good pumpkin or not? You know, like, you know when you're at the store and you're like feeling up the fruit? Well, maybe you shouldn't do that anymore. I don't know. I definitely feel up the avocados at the store. You have to! Otherwise, well, I don't know. What if you get a moldy one? You know when the avocado has like the vacant hole inside? That's like scary. I don't want that. That's why you should always wash your fruit. Because Fauna might have been touching it. But you don't really know if it's a good pumpkin or not. And it might not be. It might not be a very sweet pumpkin, a very ripe pumpkin. And it's going to be so much work to, you know, cut it open. And then you have to roast it before you turn it into a pie. But if you just buy a canned pumpkin, that's like the peak pumpkin form. Like the people who canned those pumpkins, they know. They know how to get the ripest and most sweet and delicious pumpkins. That's why canned pumpkin is actually better. Sometimes it feels like if you put in more work, you will be rewarded, but sometimes that's not true. Like if you're making a pumpkin pie, sometimes it feels like if you go out there and get yourself a pumpkin and you cut it up yourself and you roast it yourself and then you blend it up yourself, it must taste better, right? But sometimes that's not the case at all. Sometimes it just tastes better from a can. Pumpkin pie lore. I am very particular about baking. Using just the pumpkin in a I can't talk anymore. They use the pumpkin in the can.